When I arrived, the key question was, how are we going to pivot the organization towards a digital-first organization, because we were convinced that it was not about digital marketing, but marketing at the digital age. So we really needed to have all our marketers, but even beyond marketing, like all the functions of the company, really upskilled and digital, not native, but proficient. And this is where we created this massive upskilling program. We upskilled 32,500 people and counting. And for me, one of the key KPI of success is that you now have cross-career path, meaning people coming from a traditional L'Oréal environment taking on your digital jobs, and people coming from digital backgrounds and taking marketing or GM's jobs. So this is really how you can measure concretely a transformation. So external partners are an essential part of our success. Think of agencies, GAFAs, BATs, startups. So we really work super closely with them, and in general, the principle we abide by is really to very openly share our strategy, so that they can really understand where we're going and what are the important strategic levers for us. One of the big change or ambition I can see for ourselves and for the industry next year is really embracing this movement of tech for good. I really believe we are at a tipping point in terms of technology becoming a central force into marketing and into companies, into transformation in general. And we can clearly see that there are many very important questions that are on the table. And we can start to see weak signals of consumer fatigue, digital fatigue coming in. The second thing is obviously data for good and ethics of data. We are really at L'Oréal planning for the future in a cookieless world, which means that you will have less data and that you will need to invent ways of engaging with your consumers that are more driven by value add. This is why we're investing in services, in fact, because we believe that when you provide a service, for example, a makeup try-on or a skincare diagnostic, it's something that provides you very concrete value as a consumer. And this is why we believe it starts a very different type of conversation, and that the data we will be collecting with the consent, obviously, of the consumers in that particular setting, it's much more powerful than it used to be. I have a pretty unusual background. I have a pretty unusual career. I was born in Bulgaria. I moved to France when I was 12. I moved 17 times in my life, from Africa to the US to Europe. I've always said that maybe one of my biggest strengths is I'm an immigrant. And when you're an immigrant, when you arrive somewhere, you have to observe, you have to understand how everything works, to understand the codes, respect them, and then trying to maybe make a room different, something different, and bring something different to that culture. And this is what I've done pretty much everywhere.